Fuck your life. You watching HipHopGems TV, you heard?
Welcome to HipHopGems TV, man. Today's episode 10. We got a special guest today, man. It's a poet, spoken word, brother by the name of Ali. Tap in, man. Y'all know we only fuck with that artistic, high-level shit. Y'all enjoy this episode, man. It's gonna be a good one. HipHopGems TV, baby. Let's go.
Welcome to HipHopGems TV. Today's episode 10, man. We got a very, very special guest today, man. Good brother Ali. Introduce yourself, brother.
Peace. What's good, y'all? My name is Ali. Born and raised right out of Queens, man. I'm, young poet, spoken word artist, man. Just here to provide the vibes for y'all, man. Let's get into it.
Absolutely, man. So I know you gave us a little brief intro about yourself. Tell everyone about yourself more in depth as far as like spoken word and your introduction to poetry. How did you get into that?
Really came off the love of rap and hip hop.
Gotcha.
Really, like growing up in my household, it was like you heard music everywhere. I mean, like my mom's had Mary J playing. I could go downstairs. My grandmother got Temptations, Aretha Franklin playing. My uncle got 50 Nas and the Locks bumping. So it was just
you got a good
everywhere. Yeah,
good mix.
Yeah. So I just always had a love for like just being able to put words together, like make them rhyme, put together metaphors and things like that. So really those early beginnings was Nas, Mobb Deep, Jay, Wale, J. Cole, Kendrick, like.
Got you. So a lot of those brothers like kind of paved the way as far as like.
Absolutely.
And that's a good mix, man, because you got a lot of brothers that have been able to paint pictures with words, and I think that's dope that you picked them to those being the artists that they
Yeah, it was just always something about those, and so many other artists as well. Mm-hmm. But I always love how artists could paint a picture through words, mm-hmm. and you just feel it. You feel it in your gut. So that's something I always try to aim and strive for as a poet myself.
Absolutely, man. So what would you say the message is in your poetry?
Yeah, just life.
Life.
You know what I mean? Just life, man. Really giving more insight of how I came up, things that I've dealt with, and just helping people make the connection. I mean, I've realized so many people relate and connect to these things in their own different ways, whether it's something they can identify with that they personally went through, or somebody else from going through. So it's just really life, man.
Absolutely. And being able to paint pictures with words is a talent. I say I'm a big fan of words. So as far as like painting pictures with words and listening to artists who are able to paint pictures with words and listening to your poetry, it's amazing, bro. So I want to salute what you're doing, man.
Appreciate that.
Absolutely.
Love.
So tell us about any current projects you got right now.
I just finished wrapping up an EP. I'm calling Spoken Word Flowetry Volume 1. Mm-hmm. And what it really is just me like reciting poetry over like classic hip hop shit that I like. So I'm gonna do like a whole series of it. So this one is the first volume. I'm already picking out like ideas for the second volume and things like that. Okay. So this is just like, it's fun for me because like I get to just kind of like have creative space where I could just like jump on certain joints that people wouldn't expect me to jump on, and just kind of like really just get into a bag and tap in. And then I'm also currently working on my next album, my next poetry album. That's going to be titled "The Shadow Behind the Words." So that's going to be a little bit more deep rooted, a lot more heartfelt than my other projects felt. But still having that classic, like I want to have like that classic early '90s hip hop feel. So you go back and listen to like Illmatic, you go back and listen to like Outkast, early Outkast, and early Fugees and shit like that. Like I want the sounds of that element.
Got you.
Blended in with what I'm working with.
I want to ask you, man, like how do you like, as far as like making an album, like how do you approach that? Because I know the process is like, well, would the process be a little different in terms of like music and then like actually putting together a full poetry album? I want to ask you, like, how do you approach it, like making your poetry albums and these EPs?
I was just really finding what is it that you want to speak about, right? Like, I could get up and just put words together, but like, what am I saying? What is the message behind it? Like, what is the focal point behind this particular project? And how does it all mesh and blend in with each other? So like and it always comes from like just listening to music. So like I may hear something and make, oh, okay, I like how this sound. Or what if I put this, mesh this with that? What if I mesh this with that? Like, and then I start, in my mind, I just start like channeling like all these different things. And I'm like, okay, let me go sit down somewhere and write. And I just have a habit of writing constantly all the time. Like if I go 2-3 days, I'm like itching. I'm like a fiend. Like, oh no, I need to sit down and like write something. Even if it's just 2 lines, I just need to get 2 lines out.
That's fucking dope, bro. So who are some of your influences as far as like poets?
Really Nas. Like I said, Nas is like really my favorite poet of all times. Jay Ivy, he's out of Chicago. Maya Angelou. And I'm tapping in with other artists from the local area too. There's a dude called Rush the Mic. He's pretty dope. He's good. So just, tapping in on the circuit, just finding those different pockets of inspirations you could pull from.
Would you say sometime in the future you would want to be an author?
Yeah, absolutely.
I think that kind of like goes together. Like we seen Maya Angelou, drop books.
Yeah. Actually, I'm working on a book now.
Dope.
Currently working on a book now. Pretty much what it is like just a book where I'm taking like some of my quotes from different poems and putting them all in like a collection.
That's dope,
so
bro.
People can have and things like that.
That's dope, man. Yeah. What's your favorite poem that you've written? You gotta put you on the spot.
It's tough because you always feel like, for me at least, I always feel like I get better with each joint. But one of my favorite joints is off my last album, Speak Life into Words. It's a joint called Voice of the Lost Souls. I
actually like that one, bro.
That's
I was actually hoping you was gonna say that one.
Yeah, that's because I was just at a different space creatively, mentally, and just being able to put the Nas sample on there and just like what it is that I'm touching on within that poem. I mean, is one of my favorite joints, and it's one of my favorite joints to perform as well.
Wow, that's fucking dope, brother. Would you want to collab with a rapper, and if so, which one? Because I know we always hear like poems at either at the beginning of the music or at the end of music. So if you could pick a rapper that you want to collab with, who would you want to collab with?
That's a lot, man. Wale, for sure. I would definitely like to collab with Wale. Banks, I would like to collab with Banks.
Shout out to Banks, man. The town.
Yeah, definitely. I know he was looking for a spoken word artist before for something, man. So Banks, if you out there, hit me, man.
It might have been that trilly he did for the
yeah.
Nah, see, you would have been fired for that.
I was trying to get that. So Wale, Banks, I'm gonna give you 2 more. And I gotta put Nas up there. And I would like to work with LA May. Yeah. I was just listening to her new album. I
gotta actually bump that. Yeah.
I got some shit for her.
Oh yeah?
Yeah. I got some shit for her.
Yo, man, Ali's fucking coming, boy. Ali's coming, bro. So I know there's like different style of poetry. You got like street poetry, which, Nas, and then you got like a lot of love poetry. And then I like to say, I mean, I may be wrong. If you could let me know if I'm wrong, but it's like a lot of motivating poetry as well. So where would you say your style fits in with the different categories?
I say a blend of street poetry and the motivation stuff. Like I always try to make a best way possible to blend everything in. But definitely like the street poetry and just the motivational things and just giving it from that perspective.
That's beautiful, brother. So, man, let us know what platforms people could find you on, man.
Oh man, get at me. I'm on heavy on Instagram. The Twitter page is coming soon. I'm revamping my Twitter page. YouTube page is coming soon. So we putting everything together, man.
Got you, man. Before you drop the gem, I wanted to ask you about the current project you got, the one you had sent me. I wanted to know, man, like, Is each project are you gonna have like that same kind of track amount? Like as far as like, I think that had like 15 tracks. I could be wrong.
So that last probably like 8 or 9.
Mm-hmm.
Honestly, really depends. I probably won't go over 10. I kind of like to keep albums in that time frame. Like I feel like if it gets too long, then it kind of gets like you stop listening after a while.
Yeah,
you know what I mean. So I always like to keep it between like 8, 10.
I was just about to ask you that, bro.
Yeah,
like
yeah.
Keeping the listener engaged.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. So the next joint we looking at like 10 joints. I'm actually in the process of writing now. I probably wrote maybe like a good 20 joints. So I got to start like picking like what I want, what I don't want, go back and maybe scratch some lines out, rewrite them, so forth and so on. So.
It's dope, bro. So you know, this part of the show, man, we let a lot of artists come drop a gem on us. What is your gem?
My gem, you could paint a picture full of life, but you can't blemish the truth.
Let that settle, folks. Let that settle, folks. Ali, ladies and gentlemen, he about to drop us some fire, so y'all lock in and stay tuned for that, man. HipHopGems TV, man, we about to close out. Ali, you can close out with some words if you want, brother.
Appreciate the love. Thank you for having me once again. Ali, one focused dope poet. Shout out to the whole Queens, man. Stand up, we here.
Queens get the money.
Yes, sir.
Fuck your life. You watching HipHopGems TV, you heard?
Standing behind this mic, letting all of my demons through, without knowing shit about the people that I'm speaking to. I just hope these words can mirror a reflection when they get to you. Take you on a ride and prepare your drive that these words could be a lift to you. Ride, drive, you get it later. Watch me unwrap my mind and then present it as a gift to you. Turn you to a fiend for this poetry as I provide that itch for you. See, most nights, I'm just drowning in my own thoughts, just to see what I can surface. Pacing back and forth like a nigga looking for some surface. Guess I should be looking for some purpose. Sit and talk to God about my purpose. No few people sold their soul to the devil. But tell Satan minds can't be purchased. Learn to take my curses and script them into verses just to form these poems. They give y'all the magic like it was showtime at the farm. But magic wouldn't be magic if it wasn't for Irvin. Wait, hold on. Let me bring that line back. I said I learned to take my curses and script them into verses just to form these poems. They give y'all the magic like it was showtime at the farm. But magic wouldn't be magic if it wasn't for Irvin. So let's put Ali to the side. Introduce you to Alfred so you get to know him. Now I know we all come from the same setting, but my story may be a little different, so please allow me to point out the difference. My mother was just a child herself doing her best to raise her children, doing her best to keep our eyes covered from the things that became revealing. Wasn't much she could continue to do to conceal it. My pops was living it, flipping it, dealing it. It's like my whole family's guilty by association and we was robbed of our innocence. Not sure if mommy was waiting to reap the benefits, so at this point, we was just too deep in it. Unfortunately, my pops caught another case and he had to go away. Shit broke my heart in every way. Couldn't stand the sight of no longer seeing my nigga every day. We started to fall on hard times and we lost our place. Started sleeping in motels and shelters. Mommy wouldn't speak on things, but I could read the devastation written all over her face. That shit put me in a weird space, all at the age of 8, feeling like everything in my circle was starting to lose its shape. Please tell me, if you lack faith, how can you give praise and grace to be able to stomach all that you got on your plate? Where did you get the strength to carry all of this weight? No, one day I'll have to become the man of my family. So as the years passed and I got older, I'm starting to feel the pressure on my shoulders. My siblings subconsciously watch me to see the type of path I'm going to walk through so they can follow me. I just hope they accept my apology. I started acknowledging that I wasn't always thinking responsibly. I apologize if y'all felt like I couldn't be the stand-up nigga that our pops couldn't be. I know I should have known better when I seen him trip over his own steps when I tried to follow his lead, but you know what they say. The apple don't fall too far from the tree. I spent years going through pain, but you can see the blood on my knees. I've been through battles and wars. You can see the blood on my sleeves. Kneeling down praying to God for so long, you can see the blood on my life left me cold-hearted. I just pray it's not time for my heart to freeze. Put your ear to my chest, I promise you, you can still feel a heartbeat. As long as my lungs can breathe, I want to share my truth when you hear me speak. Before my time expires, I just want to inspire you to be better than me. Living truth, Ali.